Here is the recap of the first season of House of Dragon. The Targaryen dynasty has long ruled the Seven Kingdoms. The current king, Viserys Targaryen, has no sons yet, and his wife dies in childbirth, leaving his only female heir, Rhaenyra. The nobles are not very happy about this, but Viserys appoints her as his successor. The current hand of the king, the king's chief advisor, Otto Hightower, realizes that now is a great opportunity to make his daughter Alicent the new queen and sends her to the saddened Viserys. Half a year later they marry, and Alicent and Rhaenyra, who were friends before, have a conflict. Rhaenyra is also tasked with choosing a new knight of the Kingsguard. She is advised to look at noble lords, but she chooses Sir Criston Cole, who has earned his name through battles. Viserys Targaryen is trying to keep his nation out of the war, so he doesn't get involved in the skirmishes happening all over the country. His advisor Corlys Velaryon, master of the ships, demands that he intervene in what is happening on the so-called stepstones. However, the king refuses and insults Corlys. Meanwhile, Viserys' brother Daemon wants to be seen as a force to be reckoned with. He rides his dragon to occupy the vacant Dragonstone, the ancestral castle of House Targaryen. He steals a dragon egg and wants to marry his mistress. The king is furious and sends his knights there, but the situation is saved by Rhaenyra, who flew in on her dragon and persuaded her uncle to give up the egg and give up the castle. Soon Lord Corlys, offended by the king, contacts Daemon and asks him for help in the battle with the pirates. After that they fight on the stepstones for 3 years to spite the king. Viserys organizes a tournament to celebrate his son Aegon's birthday with Alicent. Rhaenyra fears that her father will change his mind and appoint Aegon as his successor after a while, but he assures her that she will be the one to take the throne after his death. He also tells her about the prophecy, roughly speaking about what will happen in Game of Thrones, and she needs to prepare. Soon her father insists that the girl should finally get married already. The princess, infuriated that every nobleman is trying to hit on her, runs away into the forest, and Sir Criston is sent after her to protect her. They start having a romantic relationship, and soon they are sleeping together. Daemon defeats the pirates on the stepstones and returns to the capital, Westeros. The king is displeased with his actions, but his brother kneels before him, saying he did it for the king. Soon Daemon seduces his niece Rhaenyra. I'll point out that it's normal for Valyrians to do this, but they never get to sex. The king finds out about it, and his brother offers to marry Rhaenyra off to him. However, Daemon already has a wife, so Viserys kicks his brother out of the castle. To avoid scandal, the king also forces his daughter to marry Laenor Velaryon, son of Corlys, thus uniting their feuding houses. The Velaryons are also Valyrians, and Rhaenyra's children will be purebloods. However, it soon becomes clear that Laenor prefers men, and the couple agree that they will just pretend to be a couple and love whomever they want. After their engagement, Sir Criston tries to persuade her to run away with him and live happily ever after, but Rhaenyra refuses. Criston then becomes disillusioned with his lover and tells her of his connection to Princess Alicent. Also, the king's hand Otto, the father of the naive queen, informs her that Rhaenyra's future children are a danger to her, and in case of the king's death, the princess can kill them all. Because of this, Alicent begins to despise her former friend, and Criston now obeys the queen. In addition to this, Viserys removes Otto from his position, as he feels that he is plotting something against Rhaenyra, even though he can't prove anything. Daemon secretly returns to his unloved wife and kills her, making it look like an accident. He then goes to his niece Rhaenyra's wedding, where he begins flirting with Laenor Velaryon. Meanwhile, the lover of Rhaenyra's future husband teases Sir Criston, for which he kills him in public, but he gets away with it. 10 years later, Rhaenyra has now had 3 children, Jaehaerys, Lucerys, and baby Joffrey. However, none of them have white hair, and all of them are light-skinned. Everyone in the castle realizes that they are not from Laenor Velaryon, but from Harwin Strong, an officer of the Kingsguard. Meanwhile, Alicent and the king have also had several children already. The eldest Aegon, as well as Aemond, Helaena, and little Daeron, who was not shown to us. There is still a standoff between their families, as if any of them give a slack, they will surely die. Soon Sir Criston provokes Harwin Strong and he starts a fight, causing him to leave the palace in disgrace. His brother Larry Strong, being a schemer, gains the queen's trust, and to prove his loyalty kills his brother, the father of Rhaenyra's children. The king then reappoints Otto as Hand, as the current Hand died in a fire with Harwin Strong. In the meantime, Daemon has married Laena Velaryon, and they have 2 daughters, Baela and Rhaena. However, the next birth is difficult, and in order not to suffer, Laena orders her dragon to burn her. At the funeral, the whole royal family gathers, and at night Aemond, Alicent's son, tries to get himself the biggest dragon in Westeros, which was previously Laena's. He succeeds, and on his way back to the castle he runs into Rhaenyra's children and calls them bastards. A fight breaks out and Aemond loses an eye. The families begin to quarrel even more, but the king persuades them to stop fighting. But everyone realizes that a real war is about to break out. At night, Daemon and Rhaenyra sleep together and then agree to marry, but they are prevented from doing so by Rhaenyra's current husband, Laenor. Rhaenyra is not going to kill him, but instead gives him the opportunity to run away with his lover, as he wanted. Meanwhile, they set up the whole thing as an assassination to make their enemies afraid of what else they might do, after which Rhaenyra and Daemon get legally married. 6 years later, Lord Corlys Velaryon disappears during another war on the Stepstones, and the closest heirs are Rhaenyra's children, supposedly from his son. However, Corlys' brother is against it, as these children have no Valyrian blood, though everyone pretends they have. When he arrives in the capital, he demands of the king, who is on his last breath, that the Valyrian lands go to him, and not to the bastards. In doing so, he insults Princess Rhaenyra and Viserys, and Daemon beheads him. Rhaenyra also makes an alliance with Rhaenys, wife of Corlys Velaryon, to give her son for her granddaughter. It's actually so complicated there with these daughters, sons, etc., as it is customary for the Valyrians to create marriages with their relatives. Speaking of which, Alicent's eldest son named Aegon is married to his sister Helena, and they have twins. And Rhaenyra is having 2 more children with Daemon. The king gathers everyone for dinner and tries to reconcile Alicent and Rhaenyra. However, one-eyed Aemon provokes the bastard children. Viserys feels ill and goes to his chambers. He takes his wife Alicent for his daughter and starts repeating prophecies to her. And the queen, through all this nonsense, mistakenly understands that he wants to put her son Aegon on the throne, not Rhaenyra. The princess's family leaves the castle, and on the same night Viserys dies of illness and old age. In the morning, Alicent learns of her husband's death and tells Otto that Viserys, before his death, supposedly wanted to put Aegon on the throne. The Greens, now we will call this side, gather a small council, and it turns out that all the advisors have long planned to crown her son. But action must be taken immediately. Otto gathers the lords of the great houses and offers to kneel before the new king. Several refuse and are executed. Soon the Greens realize that no one can find Aegon, and all go to the city in search of him. It becomes known that Daemon's former lover Mysaria has created a huge network of spies in the capital. She is the one hiding the prince, and is willing to tell where he is for improving the lives of ordinary people in the slums of the city. At first, Aegon refuses to take the throne, but soon Alicent talks him into it. A few days later, when it becomes impossible to hide the king's death from everyone, Aegon is crowned right in the dragon's lair, in front of thousands of people. At this time, Rhaenys, the wife of Corlys Velaryon, escapes from her chambers in the capital. She climbs on her dragon and breaks out, killing many people who came to the coronation ceremony. However, she does not kill the traitors because she does not want to start a war. After that, she flies to Rhaenyra, and Eric, one of the officers of the royal guard, steals the crown of King Viserys and also goes to Dragonstone. Rhaenys flies to Dragonstone and tells Rhaenyra what's going on in the capital. Because of all this, the woman has a miscarriage, and then she is crowned. The main characters begin to prepare for war and send ravens to their supposed friends. However, it turns out that the Greens have more allies and a much larger army, although the main characters have more dragons. Soon Otto arrives at their door and sets his own terms. Rhaenyra recognizes Aegon as king and renounces his claim to the throne, while the Greens give them a quiet life and a place at court. Rhaenyra decides to consider the offer, as she does not want to start a war that could destroy half the kingdom. With this restrained behavior, she wins the trust of Rhaenys and her arriving husband Corlys, who informs her that their huge fleet will serve the queen. Meanwhile, Daemon descends into the bowels of the dragon's lair, where he meets a huge dragon and wants him to fight on their side. Meanwhile, the main characters realize that they need to get the most important allies as soon as possible. That is why a decision is made to send Rhaenyra's sons Jaehaerys and Lucerys on a diplomatic mission on dragons. The younger Lucerys is sent to Lord Baratheon, but Lord refuses to support Rhaenyra. There, the boy is attacked by Aemond, who wants to avenge his eye, but does not want to kill Lucerys, just intimidate him. However, when Lucerys hurries home, Aemond's dragon disobeys his master and kills the boy in midair. With this, he starts a civil war in the Seven Kingdoms. This is the end of the first season. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click the like button. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.